Hello YouTube, this is Chuck. It's Tuesday, August 1st, and I'm going to give you another one of my windshield tour videos. And this is the community of Christopher Creek, and we're going to turn on to Christopher Creek Loop Road here as soon as the traffic will let us. And we'll take you on a quick tour, talk a little bit about Christopher Creek. Pretty little area underneath the Mogollon Rim. It's about 20 miles east of Payson. And it's a little bit higher, about 1,300 feet higher. So as a result, and being this close to the rim, they get a lot more weather than we get in town. More rain, more snow. There's the end of Promontory Point right up above us there. This actually, we're turning into what used to be the old road. And the old highway used to go right through the middle of the community, and then they bypassed it with the 4-lane divided highway. Made it a lot quieter. You'll see when I get up here, I'll tell you a little bit about the Jake brakes, because boy, this place used to, the trucks coming down through here used to run their Jake brakes, and of course they'd echo off the hillsides all night, and the locals didn't like it a whole lot. And after they bypassed the community, of course, it got pretty darn quiet here, and some of the people actually complained it was so quiet they couldn't sleep. And I'm sure they got over that pretty quick. Coming into the backside of the community there's a cowboy and a horse and a trailer. I'm not sure what the population is here, but well, they say 5,700 foot. That's only 800 foot higher than town. But anyway, there's the LDS church down in there. And on the left, of course, fire station. Always got to show the fire station. That's right over there. That's also the community building. They have meetings and stuff upstairs. Christopher Creek is known for their RV parks, and they have an RV park there. There's a church here on the left. Little store here on the right that's closed. This used to be right there, used to be a service station, and they don't have gas here anymore. This is the Landmark Bar, restaurant and bar, and it's pretty nice. When the weather's nice, they actually open that big garage door in the end, and they have it wide open in the end. And this right here is the creek itself, and this is a good place to, let me spin this around, it's a good place to tell you a little story. I had to look and make sure I took my dark glasses off. The Christopher Creek was named after the first resident here, and he was an immigrant from, I've heard Denmark, I've heard that he was Dutch, I've also heard that he was German. I'm not sure which one's true, but one of those places. But his name was Isidore Christopher, and he came here and built himself a cabin on the shores of the creek. I think I want to put this thing in park so I don't run it off into the creek itself. And he lived here for a little while, and back in 1882, down on the San Carlos Apache Reservation, a group of Indians who were unhappy with the situation decided that they were going to revert to the old ways, and they followed a brave by the name of Nato Atish, and they started heading back up for this country, and they were burning ranches and killing livestock and stuff as they came. Well, it was August 1882, and they rode into Christopher Creek here, and they found old man Christopher's cabin, and he wasn't here at the time, but they went ahead and burned it down, and I'm sure they looted it before that, and then they headed on their way. Well, the cavalry was hot on their heels, and so the next day the cavalry got here, and the cavalry, the ruins of the cabin were still smoldering, and they're looking through there, and they found a badly burned body. And so they assumed that the Apaches had got old man Christopher and that they killed him and burned his cabin down. So a quick burial party was organized, and they dug a quick grave, and they wrapped the body in a blanket and put him in a grave, and they were filling the grave in. But about that time, old man Christopher come riding up on his horse. Well, what it turned out had happened is that he'd killed a bear the day before, and he'd hung it up in his cabin. He skinned it and hung it up in his cabin, and then he took off and went someplace, And when the Indians came, they burned the cabin down, and the bear was in there. When the cavalry came, they found the badly burned body of the bear, and they thought it was Old Man Christopher. So the story goes that Old Man Christopher wasn't here when the Indians came and burned his cabin down, but he got back in time for his funeral. And that, my friends, is a true story. But Christopher Creek today is a quiet little hamlet. A lot of vacation homes here. I'm going to turn you back around. There's actually a bunch of rental cabins the other side of that greenery there, and you can't really see it from here. But I'm going to pull back out here in the road. The Christopher Creek Lodge has got the little cabins. You can see them back there in the trees. Gorgeous little spot. This is the bridge going across the creek itself. There's some more rental cabins. Doing a little bit of work here. Over here that's the obligatory real estate office. Got to have one of them. This thing here, it's an elevated tank called the Klein tank. Let me pull over here again so I can talk. Another little RV park over there. Anyway, the Klein tank back there, see if I can get a shot of it. The county goes and puts that there every summer. They fill it with water from the creek, and it's there in case of fire, because obviously when it's during the dry season, this place is really susceptible to a fire. And if you can tell by how green and lush everything is now. They've had some rain, so things are a lot better than they were for a while. There's another restaurant up here called Creekside, and Creekside is a good place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They got a bar in there as well. Also got outside dining and some rental cabins there as well. Very popular place for folks from the Phoenix area to come. And then there's some more houses back up the hill there. And we're going to come back here and tie back into the highway. And there's one more thing I'll show you. There's a place called Hunter Creek, which is a kind of an exclusive place with a gated community and $1 million homes and that sort of thing. And that's actually right up this little road here to the right. And I don't really know anybody rich enough to live there, but I'm sure there's somebody. And a lot of these places are, wealthy retirees. But here we're back to the highway, and we're gonna go across to the eastbound lane here, and then we're gonna head back on up the mountain, going squatching with Kevin and Chris. And we're about we're still about 40 miles from where I need to be to get to where they're at. So I'll go ahead and shut this down for right now. The traffic's gonna let me out back on the highway again. So that's just a quick little windshield tour. A lot of my windshield tours are pretty popular, and we'll get back to you with another one here real soon. So love each other, take care of yourself, and take care of others, and we'll be back with you again with another one up here on top of the mountain.